You ever hear that fire alarm go off at work and wonder what's really going on? Is it just another annoying interruption, or is there something more to it? Well, today we're going to go behind the clipboard and see what makes a workplace genuinely safe, all according to the global standard, ISO 45001. We are going to break down what separates a real, working safety plan from just a piece of paper in a binder.
So, that brings us to the big question, the one we're going to investigate together. Is your workplace's safety plan a real shield protecting everyone, or is it pretty much just for show? Let's put on our safety detective hats, shall we? We're going to follow the exact same clues an auditor would to find out the truth.
You know, every good investigation needs a case file, a blueprint. And for us, that's Clause 8.2 of ISO 45001. Think of this as the official rulebook, the fundamental set of instructions that every single organization has to follow for emergency preparedness. This is the playbook auditors use to separate fact from fiction.
Okay, so what's actually in this blueprint? Well, it all boils down to these 6 pillars. It's a cycle, really. First, you've got to identify what could go wrong. Then you plan how you're going to respond. Then, and this is crucial, you test it all with drills. Afterwards, you review what happened and revise your plan. You have to train everybody. And finally, you document the whole thing. For an auditor, these 6 steps, they are the absolute non-negotiable foundation of any safety system worth its salt.
All right, we've gone over the blueprint. Now it's time to get our boots on the ground and start looking for some actual evidence. A good safety detective doesn't just read the plan, right? They're out there, on the floor, looking for clues and red flags in 3 key areas to see if the plan actually holds up in the real world.
Let's start with a classic, the fire drill. On the left, you see the good stuff, the signs of a team that's really prepared. But on the right, those are the red flags, what auditors call non-conformities. Basically, they're dead giveaways that the plan isn't being followed. And you know the biggest one they find? Conducting a drill, but having no report, no evaluation, nothing to learn from it. It's like running a race without a stopwatch. What's the point? Oh, and another huge one, excluding contractors. Hey, if they're on your site, they better be in your drill, period. Okay, next up in our investigation, chemical spills. Now, a prepared company, they've got the right kits, their workers are trained, the procedures are clear. But a detective can spot the red flags a mile away. Things like expired kits or really fuzzy instructions on how to isolate a spill. And check out that point about ignoring the environmental impact. A real plan doesn't just stop the spill. It thinks about where that chemical is going next.
And this just hits the nail on the head. This is the core of the issue right here. You can have all the fancy equipment in the world, but if your people aren't trained to actually use it, that shiny new spill kit is basically just an expensive decoration. This is one of the quickest ways an auditor can tell if your safety plan is all talk and no action. And for our final piece of evidence, let's look at first aid. Of course, a detective is going to check if the boxes are stocked. That's easy. But they're going to dig way deeper. Are the first aiders' certifications even valid? Is there a list somewhere so people actually know who to call in an emergency? A super common red flag is finding a first aid box just full of expired supplies. It's such a clear sign that the system isn't being maintained. It's just being forgotten. So we've gathered all this evidence, right? Fire drills, spill kits, first aid boxes. You might think we've seen it all. But here's the thing. None of that is the single most important clue. The real aha moment. The one thing that truly tells you how strong a safety system is, well, that's something else entirely.
This is it. This is the auditor's critical question. This is what it all comes down to. Is that drill just an annoying formality? Something you have to do to tick a box for the year? Or is it seen as a genuine opportunity to find the weak spots and actually make things better? The answer to this one question tells you everything you need to know about a company's real safety culture.
So, the real proof of a great safety culture is what happens after the drill. Just look at this timeline. In year 1, a drill shows an evacuation took 8 minutes because an exit was blocked. A basic company might just shrug and make a note, but a great one, they take action. They clear the route, assign a new warden, and the proof is in the pudding. The next year, that evacuation time is down to 6 minutes. That is what a living, breathing, learning safety system looks like in action.
So, now that we've followed all the clues and examined the evidence, it's time for the verdict. Based on everything we've seen, an auditor can place an organization's emergency preparedness on a spectrum, all the way from just doing the bare minimum to being truly best in class. And here's what that spectrum looks like. A basic company? Yeah, they do the drill. Check. Moving up, a moderate one actually looks at what happened and takes some action. Advanced companies are the ones tracking their performance over time with real data. And then you get to best practice. These are the pros running complex simulations, sometimes even with the local fire department. So where do you think your workplace fits on this chart?
And hey, if you want to spot a truly world-class system out in the wild, these are the signs to look for. Are they planning for vulnerable people, like workers with disabilities or who are pregnant? Is the night shift getting the same quality of training as the day shift? Do they think about how an emergency might impact a neighborhood around them? This is the kind of thinking that separates the good from the great.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The next time that alarm rings out for a drill, you'll know exactly what to look for. You'll understand the difference between a simple test and a true chance to get better, stronger, and a whole lot safer. And that's a piece of knowledge that can make all the difference.